Oh, very good morning and welcome. Ordinarily, we feel awkward saying Happy Human Rights Day, looking at where that baseline sits globally at the moment. But we're going to say, yes, celebrate your human rights and the values that define us as a nation. Freedom, equality, and human dignity. Happy Human Rights Day.
Man, happy Human Rights Day to you. And we've come a long way since 1960. And again, commemorating the incredible work that was done for our country, the sacrifices of the past. But also, let's remind ourselves of the work that still needs to come ahead of what needs to happen in order to protect and uplift every citizen in South Africa. But man, we were talking about it earlier. We really have come a long way in all these years. Yes, there's work to be done, but this is something that we can celebrate.
We should, lest we forget. We absolutely have to, because that celebration is awareness. It's casting a light into those darker spaces where people are yet to cross that line. So please join us today as we explore the significance of Human Rights Day here in South Africa, and I think what it means globally, its history, its impact, and the voices driving change today. And we'll have a few of those voices on set.
Yeah, we're going to have some
amazing.
Proper conversation coming your way, Mzansi. And I think a lot of educational stuff too, because a lot of us aren't even aware of what our rights are, especially in today's age. So maybe you can be an activist for it, or put your hand up and try to protect the rights of others. And I think that's what we need to stand up for this morning.
Absolutely love it. So let's start that conversation with you guys right now. And we'll head to the social media streets for this one, being Human Rights Day. If you could have a coffee with any human rights activist, any freedom fighter, someone who has inspired you, we'd love to know who that person would be and why. You can let us know via, I'm sure, quite an emotive voice note this morning, 0634088863, or on any of our social media platforms. Hashtag Expresso Show is the one to use. Let's connect. Let's have some authentic and very critical thinking here today. So let's get started on that note. Let's get into those news and sporting headlines. Then the conversation can begin.
Thank you so much, Iman. Yes, official duties shall commence, and let's start off with national headlines. Now, Deputy President Paul Mashatile will deliver the keynote address at the 2025 Human Rights Day commemoration in Kariga, and that's taking place in the Eastern Cape today. Now, he will highlight the theme, Deepening a Culture of Social Justice and Human Rights. And the day honors victims of the 1960 Sharpeville Massacre and the 1985 Uitenhage tragedy. Now, the government rotates commemoration venues to engage different communities. And ministers, provincial leaders and senior officials will accompany Mashatile to reflect on South Africa's progress in building a united democratic society. Well, next up, the South African Reserve Bank has held the repo rate at 7.5%, keeping the prime lending rate at 11%. Now, Governor Lesega Kganyago noted inflation remains contained at 3.2%, but economic growth for 2025 is lower than expected. Now, all this while 4 Monetary Policy Committee members supported keeping the rate unchanged, and 2 favored a 25 basis point cut. Now, despite improved confidence and lower bond yields, global and domestic uncertainties pose risks, and the decision reflects cautious economic management amid ongoing financial instability. Well, we move to international headlines right now, and the UK Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, warns that Russian President Vladimir Putin will breach any Ukraine peace deal without firm security measures. Now, speaking at a military base in London, Starmer stressed that any ceasefire must be backed by strong defense arrangements. And more than 20 nations met to discuss military support for Ukraine as part of a lasting agreement. Now, Starmer said allies were shifting from political momentum to military planning, and that's to prevent history from repeating itself. Now, Defense Secretary John Healey joined the meeting, which has been dubbed the Coalition of the Willing. Next up, Namibia is set to inaugurate Netembo Nandi-Ndaitwah as its first female president today. Now, Nandi-Ndaitwah, a candidate of the Southwest Africa People's Organization, or otherwise known as SWAPO, underscores the importance of societal change and the potential of women in leadership. Now, she calls for the creation of 500,000 jobs during her tenure, and her inauguration marks a significant milestone for gender equality in the South African development community. Now, joining Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan as one of the region's 2 female leaders. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to attend the ceremony. Now, lastly, something that I hope a lot of us will want to replicate in their own towns for the 8th year in a row. Finland has been crowned the world's happiest country, and that's thanks to its deep connection with nature and robust welfare system. Now, the UN-backed World Happiness Report placed Denmark second, while Costa Rica and Mexico entered the top 10 for the first time. Nothing credited to a strong family bond. Now, a heartwarming study found people are twice as kind as expected, proven by lost wallets being returned more often than predicted. And Finland's beloved sauna culture also plays a role promoting well-being. Now, meanwhile, the UK and US dropped to their lowest ever rankings, and their findings highlight that trust and kindness are key ingredients in happiness worldwide. Well, you got the ingredients. Let's sprinkle that on and we carry on with the rest of the headlines. And here's G-Man with the latest in all things sport.
Thank you so much, my friend. Let's start with football in connection and Croatia securing a 2-0 victory over France in their Nations League quarter-final first leg last night with Ante Budimir and Ivan Perisic on target. So Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele returned for Les Bleus but couldn't spark a response. Elsewhere, Spain, they rescued a 2-2 draw up against the Netherlands thanks to Miguel Merino's 93rd minute equaliser last minute. Germany edging out Italy 2-1 in Milan. That was a tense one, while Rasmus Højlund gave Denmark a narrow first leg lead over Portugal. So still so much in it for the second leg. Now let's turn to the Olympics and a massive moment in all sports, in fact, as Kirsty Coventry made history yesterday, becoming the first woman and first African to be elected president of the International Olympic Committee, otherwise known as the IOC. So the 41-year-old Zimbabwean, a two-time Olympic swimming champion herself, also becomes the youngest ever IOC president, succeeding Thomas Bach after his 12 years. So Coventry won a decisive first-round vote against 6 rivals, including Juan Antonio Samaranch Jr. and Sebastian Coe. So quite a moment, as I said. Now let's turn to India's winning ways. The BCCI has now awarded India's Champions Trophy winning team a further $6.72 million in cash as a bonus, 3 times the tournament's winner's purse. So Rohit Sharma's side defeated New Zealand in the March 9 final in Dubai, securing their second consecutive ICC title after last year's T20 World Cup win. And the BCCI president Roger Binney called the reward a tribute to the team's dedication and excellence on the global stage. Now, finally, we turn to motorsport for a tragic story. Eddie Jordan, the former Formula One team owner and TV pundit and massive personality in the sport, has sadly passed away at 76 after battling an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This now being confirmed by his family. So Jordan's eponymous team raced in 250 Grand Prix from 1991 to 2005, winning 4 times, including a 1-2 finish famously at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1998. And he also famously gave Michael Schumacher his Formula One debut in 1991. How much do we owe this man before selling his team and then moving into broadcasting, where he was equally as successful? So a massive void in the world of motorsport and especially Formula One being left there. But that's where we leave our sport for now. Let's touch on the weather.
Thank you so much, G-Man. And yes, the SA Weather Service has come through with some information to serve you this weekend. And they've issued a yellow level 2 warning for disrupted rainfall, and it's taking place over parts of the Western Cape, including Cape Town, the Cape Winelands, and Overberg. And this all leading to localized flooding. Now, the Weather Service has also warned of a heat wave gripping Alfred and Zor district, and that's in the Eastern Cape. But meanwhile, due to persistent rain in Gauteng, a sluice gate at the De Waal Dam was opened yesterday, and that was to manage water levels. Now, the dam, which supplies most of Gauteng, currently sits at 106%, with outflows aiming to keep it at 105%. Well, we definitely hope that you can stay safe in these conditions, and hopefully this brightens up your mood. We've got a beautiful shot from Verna. It's our sunrise view of the hour, and it's all the way from Stikland. 24 degrees Celsius is the weather you can expect in your side of town, but I absolutely love this shot. What's more prominent here is the beautiful contrast of the orange and the blue in the sky, and the way it just fades with that silhouette, just bringing it all together. Absolutely love this shot. Can't thank you enough, and we'll do it all again in the next hour. So reminder, use the number 063-408-8863, and we can share that sunrise view with the rest of the world. For now, though, let's see what temperatures you can expect for your Human Rights Day.
We know crazy weather in parts, and I know we make light of it, but please, we do understand just how dramatic the weather has been this year and how badly people have been affected. So please stay safe out there, and as we always say, just stay indoors just a little bit longer because we have a vitally important conversation.
Yeah, I mean, obviously safety is a part of our human right and shelter as well. So hopefully we can provide that for everyone's weekend and provide you with great conversation when it comes to protecting and seeing how far we've come with regards to our human rights. So don't go anywhere, Mzansi. A pertinent convo is coming at you in just a bit.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, Mzansi. Yes, it is Human Rights Day, and today we bring you an important conversation because human rights impacts all of us. And as we reflect on this day, we're going to be diving into how far we've come and what still needs to change. So we've put together an absolutely impactful and pertinent panel. We're joining this conversation with Mandy Pearson, the CEO of the Restory Foundation. We've also got Jessica De Hurst, all the way from the Justice Desk. And then we have Katlego Sepotokele, the Legal Advocacy Coordinator at the Triangle Project. Now, everything from gender-based violence to historical trauma. We're going to be unpacking these real issues that are shaping our society today. So, can I firstly thank you all for being here this morning? An absolutely incredible opportunity to chat about so much importance, especially in our country, because, hey, 1960, Sharpeville Massacre, we are very well of the sacrifices that were made to kind of discover and put these human rights into place that are protecting us. How far have we come since then? How are we looking in terms of the human rights today? What would you say that progress is like? And of course, there is still some work to be done. Where do you think the situation is right now for South Africa?
Well, thanks for having us today. It's lovely to be here with such powerful, amazing people. Happy Human Rights Day as well to all of you. But yeah, I think after the end of apartheid, a lot of people in South Africa feel like, you know, we've achieved our human rights, we've got them, we have a great constitution, we have great laws, we're good. And I think what we really need to recognize and what we need to own up to as a country is that not much changed after apartheid. Yes, we have laws, but what actually has changed in the lives of the majority of the people in our country? People still live in Bantustans, we just call them townships. People still have unequal access to everything in our country, from healthcare to education to employment opportunities.
Yeah.
So we definitely still have a long way to go. And I think as the South Africans, what we need to recognize is that, you know, we've turned human rights into just one of those words that we throw around. But human rights isn't just it's not something that's achieved. It's something that's fought for every single day, and we need to protect it every single day. And so I think today especially, but every day, we should recognize that every day we should be doing something extra to ensure that the rights of all South Africans and all people who live in South Africa are respected and protected.
I love that, because I think when you mention it, it's literally like a list that we've created, but it's not an action list, and we need to almost view it as such.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can look at it and it's a reminder, but like, what are we doing about it?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're mentioning. I love that. I think in the workplace especially, it's something that we can often find ourselves being in situations where I think South Africans don't even realize the human rights are being tested, questioned, or not being served. I don't know if you've got any experience in this, but I think it plays to the effect of us not being aware of our human rights, firstly. When we get this experience in the workplace, and I'm sure there's a couple violations that can occur, which I'm sure Mzansi is not even aware of right now. Can we talk about some of these violations that might be taking place and some of the steps that employers and people in the workplace can incorporate to provide that safety, to provide that well-being in an intense space like this?
I think, first of all, we need to recognize first the conversation of workplace in our country right now is a little bit touchy when we have like one of the most highest unemployment rates we've never ever seen, right? So also that is a challenge, and that's also human rights crisis. And of course, we can talk about a lot of human rights issues in the workplace, like we still have the gender pay gap. We still have workplace discrimination on basis of HIV and AIDS, sexual orientation and gender identity. So we can unpack all of that. How do we ensure safety in terms and inclusivity in workplaces? But I think fundamentally right now we sit with a human rights crisis of unemployment in South Africa, and I think you know, before we even begin to think through designing inclusive workplaces, we first need to create work for our people. And that is still a human rights crisis in our country right now.
And just to add to that, I think it's really important the fact that so many people are unemployed. That doesn't mean that we need to exploit people, because we know people are desperate. And that is a lot of the time what's happening in our country as well. People realize, oh, well, you know, you're so desperate for a job, I'm going to pay you below minimum wage. That's not acceptable. We should be holding our employers to standard. I don't want to say a higher standard, it's just the standard, basic standard.
Absolutely.
Pay people what they are worth, treat people like the human beings that we all are, and make sure that, you know, at a workplace you need to be safe. It shouldn't be, you should never be put into dangerous or difficult circumstances or made to feel less of a human because of who you are. So at the workplace we need to know our rights, and the employers need to know how they need to be protecting their employees' rights. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yes, and I think it's more than just putting rules in place.
Yes.
It's about that culture, because unless the leaders of the organization are actually they're instilling it, they're living it themselves, it's not going to happen. You can have all these rules and government can put these wonderful rules in place, but unless it's being lived as a culture, it's not going to happen. The implementation goes awry.
And I like what you're saying there, because it almost holds our employers and everybody accountable to this, because essentially there's a situation and they are exploiting that situation to the point where they are allowing it to happen in your workplace. So maybe this is something we should pay attention to. People aren't even aware of this. What can we do though? Because we're talking about important things like healthcare, housing, education. These are our rights, yet we're not receiving it yet as a nation. You mentioned this inequality right now, Katlego. What can we do about this to try and actually fix this? What can we put on that action list to make a change?
Well, I think, I mean, there's historic injustices, the current corruption that we see. But what does it look like for communities to come together and to actually make a stand? We see situations where children don't have a teacher for a term. A child's not allowed into school because they don't have a birth certificate. What does it look like for a partnership to form between the stakeholders and communities to kind of find their positive power, to actually have a voice And I think often they haven't had a voice, and that often leads to violence, etc. What does it look like for that partnership to really grow? And I think that's when we'll see rights growing in our country.
You remind me of a very sensitive question here, because in honesty, can we say that we are being failed as a nation, as people? Is this why communities have to now come together? Is this why we as a group of people need to take action into our own hands because we are being failed? Is that why we are having communities dealing with issues like GBV, Katlego, as an example?
Yeah, sure. I think one thing, as you've highlighted, you spoke about corruption. I think we need to understand that corruption is not a victimless crime. It has serious real consequences for people on the ground. Access to education, the erosion of state capacity, through corruption means that there's no enough to cater for education, for healthcare, to fix the gaps in healthcare, in education, in security and safety. So I think that we need to really understand what also really fundamentally what corruption does. And corruption is failure, and unfortunately, and it needs to be characterized for what it is.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I think there's different things we can do at different levels. I think we are honest as South Africans. We do say, our government's failing us. But it's not enough just to say that. We need to get more angry. We need to be incredibly angry. Even in the healthcare system, I think they said something like 30% of our doctors serve the majority of our population.
Wow.
That's completely unacceptable. The rates of children who read to understand is completely unacceptable. We have schools that have pit latrines. We have schools that have teachers not enough teachers to start off with, not enough educational materials and resources, but teachers that aren't supported and equipped to be able to really help empower our young people who are supposed to be the next generation running this country. So from us and our perspective, I think we need to take ownership of our communities. If our schools aren't performing, we need to go there and say why and demand action. If our ward councillors not doing their job, you need to know your ward councillor's name. Go to their house and say, I will not leave because you are my employee. We voted you in. And if you're not going to do your job, we're going to vote you out. We need to take that type of responsibility. So start with yourself, work on your community. Public sector, I always say invest directly in communities. Don't go through government, please. Just directly into the communities. But then also, I do think we need to be way more radical when it comes to holding our government accountable. Our Chapter 9 institutions like our public protector, we need to be giving additional powers so that real accountability can happen. We know that there's corruption in multiple levels of government, but whatever happens, when it comes to consequences and accountability, we have some work to do there.
And I think an important thing with that is, yes, it's failure of government, but it's actually a positive thing when communities come together. You actually want that. And so are we failing as well if we're not coming together and speaking? So I think we need to take accountability. That's where you're going to see change.
Yeah, we the people, the power is in our hands, and I can't thank all of you, Katlego, Jessica, Mandy. You've been incredible as a panel. I wish we could speak about this for hours because there's so much to still dive into here. But I think what we've highlighted is the importance of us knowing our rights firstly, and knowing that we can hold others accountable, not just ourselves, but those that we've put in place to protect us, to nourish and garner these rights. So Mzansi, get involved in this conversation, make this an action list, and today we can hopefully celebrate the progress that we lay on year and year from now. But again, thank you so much for this incredible one, and I hope you can celebrate the progress South Africa's made today, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, an incredible panel, and we're going to ask them to stick around, yes. And I think amidst the storm of all the critical thinking, maybe we need to take the edge off just a little bit this morning and take a flight of fancy, imagining what you could spend this money on. Powerball is sitting at a guaranteed 67 million rand in its jackpot this Friday. That is massive. For your chance to grab a downpour of millions, what are you waiting for? You can play now, and you could, as Carissa says, make it rain. Lots of cash this March. You can get your tickets in store on nationallottery.co.za. Online, their mobile app. You can use a cell phone banking platform, or you can simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Just do it, and we'll keep all those deets up on the Expresso social media pages, so you've got no excuse. Panda push a play Powerball for a guaranteed 67 million rand jackpot today. Good luck. All right, let's get back into the critical thinking. The Incredible Justice Desk, who I think we all owe a debt of gratitude, kind of providing that true north when it comes to our human rights, celebrating 12 years. And we'll delve into exactly what the impact has been and what, more importantly, we can do to support them in just a moment. Then, of course, our efforts to support you guys at home. The Bakomo Powerball game show goes live in just a moment. We'll be phoning one of you incredibly lucky viewers, so you better have your phone handy.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
See, I'm just bursting to get out the gate, so welcome back as we dive into or further down a vitally important conversation. This Human Rights Day, we sit down with Jessica Dewhurst, the founder and very proud CEO of Justice Desk Africa, alongside Nicholas Tlatlane, the program manager, a very busy man, I would imagine, to discuss their significant role in advancing human rights across Africa, not just here in South Africa, and founded in 2013. Justice Desk Africa has empowered everyday activists to fight for their rights and transform their communities from within. And with the organization celebrating an incredible 12th birthday this year, what a milestone. They continue to equip young leaders through initiatives like the Youth Ambassadors Program, shaping the future of human rights advocacy on this continent. Wow, guys. You're saving the planet one day at a time, one African at a time, one South African at a time. Thank you so much. Nick, thanks for joining the conversation. What do you find yourself reflecting on after 12 years? I mean, we've got all of our own kind of baggage that we brought to the conversation. What do you think about on Human Rights Day?
I'm feeling overwhelmed, but in a good way. I think I was reflecting on it this morning. Nicholas kept going, yeah, it's almost our 12th birthday, and I was like, what? We've been doing this for 12 years? Like that's crazy to me. But I think it's also exciting because it may seem like a long time, but for us it seems like not a lot. There's so much work that still needs to be done. There's so many children whose rights need to be fought for. There's so much issues in our community that are so complex and systemic that it's going to take a lot of commitment and dedication to address. And so I think it's a celebration, but it's also a reminder of how much more work we need to do.
Lest we forget, because sacrifices have been made on a level that few of us will ever understand. Is the advocacy market evolving with you? Are young people following this in the same way that you would have had that kind of energy and traction 12 years ago? Are you finding that young South Africans, young Africans are evolving as well?
Definitely. I think in South Africa, there is this, a lot of the time there's a feeling of, okay, our rights are there, we've achieved it, we have one of the best constitutions in the world. We're good. And I think now young people are realizing, no, we're not good. I think I heard a young person in one of our schools when their teacher was saying, you're the leaders of tomorrow. And she said, excuse you, I'm the leader of today.
Wow.
And I thought that was so fantastic because our young people are realizing, we don't have to wait. Stop telling us to wait. If we have to live with the consequences of the decisions that adults are making now, surely we should have a say in it. And so I'm seeing a lot of action. I'm seeing young people say, these words on a page mean nothing to us anymore unless it's actually done.
It's doable,
and across Africa, it is exploding. Our young people are really sick and tired of being kept in places of poverty and inequality and continued colonization. Our young people are tired. We know our worth. And we're willing to fight for it. So I've seen that growth, and I'm very proud.
Purpose.
Yes.
And that's your currency every day, Nicholas, because I would imagine impact is your baseline. You've got to see it being fixed. And I think we felt, and we're moving from a macro where we want to see everything change at once to knowing that communities are going to have input to do it themselves. Young people are going to have to come up with the solutions for the now. How do you get that impact? Talk us through the way you guys roll.
Yes, thank you very much. And it's the Youth Ambassador Program is a very huge program that we have within our organization because it speaks on our mission where we equip, empower, and educate ordinary citizens, to understand and defend their fundamental human rights, And it's not an easy work to do, especially within the spheres of high schools currently in South Africa, because there's so much happening, especially after the reduction of the teachers in the previous year by the government and by the WCET, that is our Western Cape government. But through our Youth Ambassador Program, there's a lot that we have done. We have submitted to TPE Portfolio Committee in Parliament a submission that on the reinstatement of the teachers. It speaks on the teachings that we are providing to these young people because the kind of the network and also the kind of accountability they bring in making sure that they hold the state and the institutions that have powers accountable.
I absolutely love that. And we know, like, we get our kids into schools because they're going to grow up an average of the kids that they go to school with. And we're constantly looking to move the baseline, shift that baseline up. What is the best way to do that right now? How can we support you in your endeavors? Is it a cultural shift from the top within organizations, within each individual? Is it just action to say, change that rule, that door will be open? Where do we look first?
I think when our mission, as Nicholas said, is to educate, empower, and equip, and we always say that starts with you. So if you, I always say to people, if you think, okay, I've voted, so I've played my role in society, that's not your role in society. That's maybe like 0.01.
It's exercising one of your rights.
Yes, you need to actually be playing a very active function. You should know what your 30 fundamental human rights are. In our country, we've put them to our 27, but we have 30 fundamental human rights according to the Declaration of Human Rights. You need to know what they are, but you also need to know, how do you protect them? How do you stand up for them in your society? I always have people coming up to me and saying, okay, human rights or gender-based violence. But I'll say to them, so what have you done for yourself lately to make sure that you are an active ally in protecting rights and standing up against gender-based violence?
And that accountability, yeah,
Exactly.
be that mirror.
So start with us. Community, community, community. Make sure that you are serving your community and that you are working with the different stakeholders in your community. So like local policing. I know Nicholas and our Youth Ambassadors program, they do a lot of work with police, with ward councillors. Our kids are, yes, they're speaking at Parliament, yes, they're speaking at the United Nations, but they're also running programs in their communities where they're saying, we need more street lights. And so we are going to do what we can to make sure that this is, we're going to raise awareness to it, but we're also going to hold our leaders accountable. So yourself, your community, and then advocacy. Let's make sure our leaders and our policies and our practices are actually just.
Just very quickly, Nicholas, because we could sit here for the whole day. But if people want to support you, and if I'm within the professional sector here where I've got the resources and I want to create jobs, create that connection to potential employees, how do we help to empower you in what you're doing? How should we engage with you?
We urge and also plea in the conscience of the public, especially the corporate and also the public sector, that to support the Youth Ambassador program, especially now that we're going to our conference. We have the link in our social media spaces where you can be able to donate, but also to be able to connect with us and build that network. And also we can be able, in exchange, to provide trainings into your employees, especially within our 3 focal areas: human rights education, children's rights, and gender-based violence, even in leadership and communication, because especially now in our days, I think communication is one of the fundamental issues in the workspace. Therefore, we also do provide those trainings to make sure that we bring a very safe and conducive community for everyone.
And you're talking about soft skills that are so valuable within the professional space here, and these are becoming pockets of excellence. This pressure test that these young people are being put through turns them into incredible values, assets that we need to plug into, but you've got to connect those dots. So please, we'll keep your details, justicedesk.org, up on our social media platforms. I know you wish this wasn't only a one day of the year affair, so please, can we engage with the Justice Desk Africa every day other than Human Rights Day, just to prove that point, 100%. But we'll keep their details up. Please connect with them and carry on the conversation.
We'll keep that conversation going, but for now, though, let's have a breather and make someone's Friday a beautiful one, because it's time to kick off another exciting round of the Bokomo Powerball. Now, with exciting prizes up for grabs, 3 lucky callers are going to get a chance to spin the bowls and win big prizes. So here's a reminder of how things work in case you are like wondering, what's going on here? How do I get involved in this? Listen, it's really simple and it's a lot of fun, okay? On our Powerball board over here, we have 6 bowls, each marked with a letter spelling Bokomo. Obviously, it's B-O-K-O-M-O, and our lucky winners will choose one of the bowls, which will reveal an exciting prize behind it. So it's pretty simple. I think we can get started with this one and get our first caller on the line. Ring, ring, ring. Good morning. Is Karine there?
Karen.
Karen, how's it going? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm even better because you're on the line and we're going to give you a chance to win big. So have you had your breakfast already?
No, not that. It's too early.
Not yet. Or maybe we can make it a beautiful breakfast and let's get involved in this one. So do you know how the game works?
Yes, I think I'm aware. I have to pick a letter. Sure.
Yep, you nailed it. That's right, Karen. So you're going to choose any of the letters and all of them are available because you're our first caller on the line. So is it going to be a B, the top O? Is it going to be a K, the bottom left O, an M, or the bottom right O? Let me know and we can reveal it.
I'm going to pick a K.
Okay, all right. So I can't do this because it involves a lot of technical work. So I'm going to invite Lucianus into the studio right now so he can assist us on the Powerball. Lucian, please, can you reveal to us what K is? Dum, dum, dum. Oh, 1,500 rand! Yes! Karen, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
I think you should thank Lucian for that one. He had a little bit of an extra good luck on the hand turn there. So thank you so much for being a part of this game. What are you going to do with the 1,500 rand? That's a great start to your weekend.
Yeah, that's a great start. I'm still thinking what I'm going to do with this, but I'm so excited to try. Thank you so much.
Ah, that is awesome. And while I have you on the line, what's your favorite Pacomo breakfast to choose from? Especially seeing that you're going to need to eat after the celebration.
I prefer the wheat beef and also the cornflakes, the crunch ones.
Ah, nicely done. Well, Karen, congratulations. I hope you have an incredible start to your weekend, especially since you're 1,500 Rand richer, and that's thanks to our Pacomo Powerball game. So, reminder to you, Mzansi, you want to get involved in this one. We've still got 2 more chances coming up. Yes, our first caller has been up. They've chosen the letter K, but you've still got 2 more opportunities. So, come through, get involved in this one, and I hope you've entered this competition because there's a lot up for grabs. Before we talk about this again, G-Man, what's happening on your side, brother?
Well, today, my friend, no one gets left behind, and MES have been feeding off that notion and that incredible compassion and love when it comes to our homeless communities here in South Africa. So we're going to delve into what they do and how we can empower them as well. Absolutely love that. Then, when we talk about big business, few get it right like ABSA do when they represent what they say. They walk their walk and talk. And we're going to delve into what economy means when it comes to our human rights and that financial freedom that all of us are striving for. Lots more empowerment on the way. Stick around.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh yes, Mzansi, welcome back officially. Let's celebrate all the progress we've made today on Human Rights Day, but let's also talk about the progress that we can still make. And someone who's doing incredible work in this space is Ilse Martens. Now, she is the branch manager of MES Cape Town, which is an organization dedicated to tackling poverty and homelessness in South African cities. Now, under her leadership, MES has made significant impact through initiatives like the Bellville Safe Space, which offers shelter, support, and holistic services, which help street dwellers rebuild their lives. Now, as we celebrate Human Rights Day, I think we should remember that this is enshrined in Section 26 of the Constitution. And it's stating that everyone has the right to access adequate housing, and the state must take responsible and reasonable measures to progressively realize this right. Well, is this happening or not? Let's find out. And Ilse's work embodies MES's mission of transforming the lives of vulnerable individuals and facilitating their reintegration into society. Can I start off by not even saying good morning, but saying thank you? Ilse, how are you doing?
Always blessed.
Oh,
And you?
I'm good. Hearing that there's incredible work like this happening and there are people dedicating their lives to it, it makes me feel like this world is going in the right direction. You've done such incredible work. You started this thing in 1986, right? And you've done incredible work with MES. One such thing being that Bellville Safe Space,
Yes,
which
sir.
I believe started in 2017.
Yes.
Share with me how this initiative started, why it has started, and some of the impact you've already witnessed so far.
Well, it's an incredible story, and I think seeing that it's Human Rights Day,
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela said, to be free is not just to cast off your own chains, but to live in such a way that you respect and enhance the freedom of others.
Wow.
And that is essentially how the Bellville Safe Space came about, because being an old policewoman, the whole idea of a joint operations committee, when you have to do something, or if you have to get something done,
Yes.
and you work with multiple partners, you form this joint operations committee. And that's what we did in Bellville in 2014,
Sure.
where we had state, business, and civil society sitting around one table saying, how are we going to solve homelessness?
Amazing, yeah.
And it was through that initiative that one of our security partners felt safe enough to say, you know what, we're getting pressure from homeowners and business owners to remove people, but where to?
Yeah.
Because the shelter, it's full. We only have 3 shelters in the northern suburbs.
Sure.
And collectively, their bed space is 240 beds. And just in Bellville, we've got 830 people
Whoa.
that during COVID had no place to go. There's more, but if we take that as a measurement. So even if all of the people want to come off the streets, there's just no space. And so somebody around the table said, but they're already sleeping under awning. Why can't we just put ablutions, containers and ablutions and an awning? In other words, a low barrier entry point.
Okay. Which is going to be better than anything else that they currently have.
Exactly. It's like, and so it came to fruition because of a security partner's frustrations. Business then that petitioned local government for a property that they owned, and an organization that applied and got the lease.
Sure. So
And that's how it came together.
it doesn't sound easy, though. A lot of work clearly had to go into this. It wasn't just something that landed on your lap. And I can imagine there's a lot of sacrifice, some hard questions that you had to ask on this as well. But what I love about the opportunity that you're creating is that you're emphasizing this holistic approach, right?
Yes.
So you're not just providing one thing. There's counseling, skills development. We've got job readiness here as
Yes,
well.
yes.
Why is it so important to ensure that all these puzzle pieces are being added or equipped to these individuals to allow them to deal with society and life out there?
Because iron sharpens iron. And how do you become sharp? How do you become dangerous? Because you have to be dangerous to live life.
Yeah.
You have to be competent in doing so. And getting there is a journey. If we can go back to what President Mandela said, it's like casting off your chains. That is a process. The hurt that other people did to you, you have to forgive everyone for everything.
That's difficult, eh?
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It includes yourself as well, because you made certain decisions that landed you up here. And so you need all of those services. You need to get somebody job ready. You need somebody to be solid in terms of how do I handle stress?
Yeah.
How do I handle conflict? how do I handle my budget and my debt? I mean, that's still an issue for some of us.
For all of us, yeah.
Exactly. So you need the whole process. You can't just think if you give them a place to stay, they're sorted.
Yeah, that's only one step in a massive
exactly.
staircase that we need to climb.
Exactly. Or even just a job.
Yeah.
It's not in getting a job. It's how do you keep the job?
And how do you thrive once you have it?
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is the work that you're doing, and I can't be more grateful. But there's something even more incredible happening now. We're talking about Winter Hope, which is just around the corner, an incredible campaign and initiative that you've grown. Talk to me about this, and maybe we can plug Mzansi in on the incredible work here too.
Ooh. It is amazing because it's also collaboration.
Yeah.
So it's been running for 24 years. And it's a collaboration between MES and all of its branches in Cape Town, Kaberga, Kempton Park, and Johannesburg.
Nice.
And then you've got Towers of Hope in Bloem. You've got Penn in Pretoria, and his hands in Durban.
Oh, this is a proper impact across the country.
It's countrywide. And during this time, from the 1st of June until the 31st of July, we give people an opportunity to bring clothing articles, food articles, blankets that will help vulnerable people look after themselves and their families during the cold winter.
I love everything that you are doing. I appreciate all your energy, the experience that you have, and how you're putting it into something of a bigger cause. I think you are embodying what community can do, and I'm so grateful for that. So the power of collaboration, you've seen what it's done, and you can head over to mes.org.za if you want to find out more information and get involved in the incredible work that's happening from individuals just like Ilse. So thank you so much for everything and for doing the most on a day like this.
Thank
Appreciate
you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you. G-Man, what else can we look forward to, my brother?
Oh, purpose in every corner. Absolutely love this. And I think I'm beginning to understand just how vitally important it is to have people like that shining a light, organizations leading the charge. And being Human Rights Day, we put it to you guys, if you could have a coffee with any human rights leader, who would it be? So let's find out what you are saying. Good morning, fam. This one coming through. Thank you so much. Happy Human Rights Day right back at you. I would imagine we've got so many members of our society that step up every day. I like this one coming from Sibongile. Thabo Mbeki, he is a consistent human being and a great thinker. I think he was a massive architect of what we have right now. Johan saying, I'd like to have coffee with FW de Klerk to ask him if he is satisfied with the result of his work. Interesting one. The collapse of our beautiful South Africa, the crime, unemployment, bankrupt municipalities. I think that would be a fiery conversation, my friend, but there are people alive right now that you could have that conversation with. Molatelo, I don't know if he's a human rights leader, but I know he is an icon. And Corsi Johnson, still remember the fighter he was. Absolutely. And I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's becoming very difficult to look at current leaders and who we'd connect with to talk about human rights today in this moment. We have to look back, or maybe we have to look forward at the young people taking over and taking charge of this conversation. So please, young people, weigh in and connect with us as well. We'd love to continue this on the social media waves. And 06340888863 is the number to dial. We are going to take the very quickest of breaks. Raul, what's on the way on the other side?
Hey man, I'm continuing to steer this Human Rights Day bus, and all of you can jump along as we usher in everything that still needs to be done on this day, and also celebrating the progress we have made in South Africa. And with that, we also have a beautiful moment to celebrate another artist and get our entertainment on, because Mars Baby is in the town, and an incredible rise to his success is what we're going to be chatting about. But let me tell you, the music, it's soul, it's passion, it's the vibe that you want for a day like this. So you don't have to go anywhere. A lot coming at you, and then also some more inclusion when it comes to finances, and that's what ABSA has to say about our human rights. So we'll see you around the corner. Don't go anywhere.
Make it your name they're talking about in the fields of commerce, teaching, or law for years to come. With Stadio Higher Education as your competitive edge, you'll be joining over 50,000 students online and on campus who've chosen these world-class qualifications to unlock their potential. So for your chance to win a one-year bursary of up to 120,000 Rand, scan the QR code or visit winnerday.co.za to enter. Competition closes 26 March. T's and C's apply. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, welcome back from Zanzi, your Feel Good Breakfast Show opening up on S3. And again, it is Human Rights Day. And one thing that I'm proud of is the fact that ABSA are recognizing that financial inclusion is a fundamental human right. Now, with the right support and financial gaps, I think everything can be transformed into opportunities for growth as well as success. And I think this is the exact sentiment that Ayanda got to share with the ABSA team. Let's take a look for more.
As we recognize Human Rights Day, let's take a moment to reflect on the freedoms that empower us all. Now, true freedom is not just limited to human rights, but rather encompasses economic opportunity as well as financial inclusion, which we all deserve in order to have brighter futures. Now, sitting with me today, I have Mpho Nhlabati, who is the Head of Strategy and Shared Value for Corporate Citizenship at ABSA. And today we'll be talking about financial inclusion and the important role that it plays in allowing for the betterment of marginalized communities. Mpho, your team has played such a pivotal role in bridging so many societal gaps. It's been a wonder to watch. Can you please tell us what ABSA's corporate citizenship does in order to ensure financial inclusion?
As a responsible corporate citizen with a strategic ambition to be a force for good in everything that we do, we understand the role of financial inclusion in realization of basic human rights, some of which are outlined in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 2063 of African Union, as well as closer to home, the National Development Plan. And we wanted to position ourselves to enable our stakeholders in all of the markets where we operate to be able to access those through financial inclusion.
Now let's really get into the crux of it. What key areas is ABSA focusing on with regards to financial inclusion?
Within corporate citizenship, we deliver this work through three streams. Entrepreneurship and employability, where within entrepreneurship we target three outcomes in particular. We target entrepreneurial mindset, where we want to expose entrepreneurship as a stream of participating in the economy outside of employment. Within education, we partner with implementing organizations where for young people we develop technical, vocational, leadership and digital skills that improve their skill set and can pathway them into accessing self-employment as well as employment in the future. And then with our colleagues within colleague volunteering and social impact, we call on our colleagues to help us be an active force for good in everything that we do. We understand that they are community members and we leverage their skills, passion, as well as proximity to communities to say that what are the things that are needed in communities and how can you help us? We enable them through matched funding, volunteering grants, as well as other governance support for them to be able to exercise this work.
I love that there's so much talk on developing the youth. We all know that in order for us to be better later on, we have to invest in the future. Now, can you please tell me about the existing program called Ready to Work, which helps with employability of the youth in South Africa?
Ready to Work is a bespoke ABSA program that is accessible across all of the markets where we operate. It's accessible real time to young people. It teaches them people skills, work skills, money skills, as well as entrepreneurship skills. We want them to be ready. We want to improve drastically their prospects of employment wherever they are, in whichever market that they reside. And I'm happy to share that we have achieved really great success there. And in Kenya alone, we've been able to train 150,000 young people.
I'm so glad that you brought up Kenya, because a lot of us just think that ABSA is limited to South Africa alone. Now, there's some incredible work being done in Ghana in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. Can you please tell us a bit about that initiative and what it involves?
I'm excited to share that on this project to date, we have been able to train 6,700 SMEs and created 24,919 jobs.
There is so much work being done, and I mean, one thing I love about ABSA is that every single person is included. And after hearing these big figures, I almost sound silly to ask, but what other innovations has ABSA come up with to ensure financial inclusion and youth employability?
So we came into the market in 2023 and said that we want to be the bank of the entrepreneur. That was because we understood the role of entrepreneurship in development and growth of economies and countries, as well as individuals, enabling them them to access economic opportunities. And to enable that, we developed 2 products geared at young people and women. Emerging Entrepreneur and She Thrives, respectively. To mention a few benefits of these products, it's that they offer a 6-month waiver of monthly fees to the holders. They offer a cash flow manager. They offer up to 35% off in short-term insurance and up to 5 million in unsecured lending.
Paul, thank you so much for your time. I can tell you that as a person of the youth myself, I'll be taking a deep dive into everything that we just spoke about today. Now, at the heart of Human Rights Day is the belief that everybody deserves the tools that they can get to ensure a brighter future, and financial inclusion plays a key role in that, and APSA is putting that in the forefront.
Absolutely love the fact that this is being put to the forefront, and a great opportunity for us and a reminder of how important our human rights are. But with that, we are 1 minute past the hour, and I think it's officially time for official duties. So let's start off with national headlines. Now, the national government will engage with Johannesburg Metro over plans to rename Santon Drive after Palestinian aeroplane hijacker Layla Khalid. Now, the road houses the U.S. consulate, raising diplomatic concerns. President's spokesperson Vincent Magwenya acknowledged the issue's sensitivity, saying South Africa values its trade and aid relations with the U.S. And the government aims to balance foreign policy and economic interests while maintaining strong international ties. Now, the discussion seeks to prevent unnecessary diplomatic tensions and ensure a mutually beneficial outcome for both nations. Pardon me. Next up, Deputy President Paul Mashatile will deliver the keynote address at the 2025 Human Rights Day commemoration in Kariga, and that's in the Eastern Cape. Now, he will highlight the theme, deepening a culture of social justice and human rights. Now, the day honors victims of the 1960 Sharpeville massacre and the 1985 Uitenhage tragedy. Now, the government rotates commemoration venues to engage different communities. And ministers, provincial leaders and senior officials will accompany Mashatile to reflect on South Africa's progress in building a united, democratic society. Well, we move on to international headlines, and Zimbabwe's Kirsty Coventry has made history by becoming the first woman and African elected as president of the International Olympic Committee. Now, the 41-year-old, a 2-time Olympic swimming champion, is also the youngest ever to hold the position. And succeeding Thomas Bach after 12 years, Coventry emphasized the honor of leading the IOC with pride and values at the core. Now, surpassing veteran candidates, including Juan Antonio Samaranch Jr. and Sebastian Coe, she was elected by a majority of IOC members after the first round of voting, declaring it an extraordinary moment. Now, next up, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer warns that Russian President Vladimir Putin will breach any Ukraine peace deal without firm security measures. Now, speaking at a military base in London, Starmer stressed that any ceasefire must be backed by strong defense arrangements. And more than 20 nations met to discuss military support for the Ukraine as part of a lasting agreement. Now, Starmer said allies were shifting from, and quote, political momentum to military planning, unquote, and that was to prevent history from repeating itself. Now, Defense Secretary John Healey joined the meeting, which has been dubbed the Coalition of the Willing. Now, lastly, for the 8th year in a row, Finland has been crowned the world's happiest country, and that's thanks to its deep connection with nature and robust welfare systems. Now, the UN-backed World Happiness Report placed Denmark second, while Costa Rica and Mexico entered the top 10 for the first time. And I think it's credited to strong family bonds. Now, a heartwarming study found people are twice as kind as expected, proven by lost wallets being returned more often than predicted. And Finland's beloved sauna culture also plays a role, promoting well-being. Now, meanwhile, the UK and US dropped to their lowest ever rankings, and the findings highlighting that trust and kindness are key ingredients to happiness worldwide. Well, next up, we've got the sport, and maybe this continues to keep you happy, but you got to wait for G-Man to give it to us all. Let's go.
Oh, after that prelude, I better give it to you. Let's head in with some European football and a couple of shock results. Croatia securing a 2-0 victory over France in the Nations League quarter-final first leg last night with Ant Budimir and Ivan Perisic on target. Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele returning for Les Bleus but couldn't spark a response or make an impact. Then elsewhere, Spain, they secured a 2-2 draw against the Netherlands. That was thanks to Mikel Merino's 93rd minute equaliser saving them. Then Germany edging out Italy 2-1 in Milan, while Rasmus Højlund, he gave Denmark a narrow first leg lead over Portugal. Now, I know Raul touched on this story, but I think it is worth screaming from the mountaintops this morning. Kirsty Coventry has made history yesterday, becoming the first woman and first African to be elected president of the International Olympic Committee, or the IOC. Incredible moment in sport. The 41-year-old Zimbabwean, a two-time Olympic swimming champion herself, also becomes the youngest ever IOC president, succeeding Thomas Bach after his 12 years. And Coventry won a decisive first-round vote against 6 rivals. And talking of some big guns, Juan Antonio Samaranch Jr. and Sebastian Coe. So congratulations. Now we turn to India's good fortunes, an actual fortune. The BCCI has awarded India's Champions Trophy winning team a $6.72 million cash bonus, and that's 3 times the tournament's winner's purse. Rohit Sharma's side defeated New Zealand in the March 9 final in Dubai, securing their 2nd consecutive ICC title. Of course, after last year's T20 World Cup win, the BCCI president Roger Binney called the reward a tribute to the team's dedication and excellence on the global stage, and they certainly have earned that. We have to round off with a heartbreaking story now, and a void left in motorsport. Eddie Jordan, the former Formula One team owner and TV pundit and massive personality, has sadly passed away at the age of 76 after battling an aggressive form of prostate cancer. And this has now been confirmed by his family. Jordan's eponymous team raced in 250 Grand Prix from 1991 to 2005, winning 4 times, including a famous 1-2 finish at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1998. And most famously, he also gave Michael Schumacher his first Formula One drive, his debut in 1991, before selling his team, and moving into broadcasting, where he made an equal impact, I think. So he will be sorely missed. And that's where we leave our sport for now. Let's get back out on the road, see if there's any public holiday traffic to report on.
Yep, thank you so much, Eman, and hopefully not too much when it comes to our public holiday today. And there is a stationary vehicle on the N1 northbound after Malibungwe Drive. Now, as you can see from the visual, the left lane is closed, so please do drive carefully. But it looks like there's not going to be too much traffic, and hopefully it remains that way. So from the road to the sky, let's find out what's happening in the world of weather. Yep, and reporting from the SA Weather Service, and they have issued a yellow level 2 warning for disruptive rainfall over parts of the Western Cape, including Cape Town, the Cape Winelands and Overberg, and it's all leading to localized flooding. Now, the Weather Service has also warned of a heat wave gripping Alfred and Zor district in the Eastern Cape. Now, meanwhile, due to persistent rain in Gauteng, a sluice gate at the Vaal Dam was opened yesterday to manage water levels. And the dam, which supplies most of Gauteng, currently sits at 106%, with outflows aiming to keep it at 105%. Beautiful news, but hopefully it gets even more beautiful with the sunrise view. And we've got Ati de Bruin all the way from Durban. Yo. That's all I can say about this one with 29 degrees of weather. I don't even know if these colors even existed, but wow, the light reflecting off the ocean from the sand to the waves. I'm absolutely here for this. Wow, you've set the mood, you've set the tone, and I'm going beyond a smile on this one. I'm going to pick my jaw up off the floor. Thank you for that, Ati. Beautiful stuff. And we'll do it one more time. The number is 063-408-8863. Let's see if you can top this incredible picture. And for now, let's see what temperatures you can expect for your Human Rights Day.
vial of emotion being injected into our studio with the sound checks of One Mars Baby. An incredible sonic journey from Woodstock to the world. And we're going to connect with him in just a moment. Brace yourself. The emotions will pump. He is sounding phenomenal today. Absolutely love that. Then we are trying our best to embrace a new season. The temperature might not be playing along, but of course we can start getting into the right mood, and we're going to elevate, whether it's cooking, whether it's hosting, whether it's just our decor, the small details. That's where the magic is. We'll start redesigning our life after this.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, and Zanzi, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show opening up on S3, and what an incredible day it is. And today, of all, we're going to be celebrating, especially when we have the pleasure of connecting with the one and only Mars Baby. You don't know who it is. We're talking about Jesse Mainchis, and he's a music aficionado. He blends indie, hip-hop, and a little bit of soul, and the influences are incredible. From his journey between Woodstock and the US, you can literally hear all of this experience in his voice. But let's get into the mind of this rising star and find out what drives his sound. And I gotta say, good morning, brother. How are you doing officially?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
It's good having you, man. And I gotta say, I listened to a lot of your music before you even got here. You sound even better live. So I can't wait for that, especially at this time in the morning. But let's talk about this. You started off from a very young age. You were producing music in your bedroom.
Yeah.
A lot of influences. And what's crazier to me is that you were actually on the Feel Good Breakfast Show about a decade ago, right? People might not know about this, but let's talk about that moment and how you've grown since 10 years ago, man.
Yeah, so almost exactly a decade ago.
Yeah?
I was in a vocal ensemble in high school, and we were just like 8 dudes, all boys school. We had these like shiny silver vests.
Yeah?
We used to sing show tunes and stuff, and we came to Expresso 10 years ago, and we did our little show tuney thing. Very embarrassing for me.
But bro, you say that, right? But it just
Yeah.
reminds you of the power of intention.
Absolutely.
You came out here, you made yourself vulnerable, you put yourself out on the stage, and small steps to this incredible big picture that we have here. We have someone that is a music aficionado, someone that has a background in film as well. So your experiences have, I'm hoping, led to this expression of what you are now calling music. Is that the
Absolutely,
way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think film and books and just life in general, it all kind of inspires what I make with my music. I like storytelling. So storytelling in any form incorporates itself into the way I express myself with music and my artistic vision.
And is that vision something that you're doing as an expression of yourself, or are you listening to the people and giving them what they want? Because you notice in this music game, as popularity increases, people start demanding certain things of you. They start to try and dictate to you how you want to sound.
Absolutely.
Have you felt these pressures, and do you have a way of keeping yourself grounded and not losing yourself in this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always try my hardest to do what people don't want me to do, just in life in general.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost natural for me to like take a sharp left every time I start a new body of work or a new song, because the main reason I do it is for fun and to express myself, and so I don't want to be boxed in. That being said, like there is a part of me that wants to deliver for the people that are fans of me and always tries to do that.
And I think if you're trying to do that, you're trying to express yourself in a beautiful way, because that's what music's about. That's where we find that flow. But not only with ourselves, but I think the collaborations that you are able to go through in this space lends to that sound and that experience, man. And I've seen you've done some cool things here. You've done some work with Shekinah. We've got Lord Keys, Filalala. What were these moments like for you, man?
I mean, Shekinah was super surreal because
Yeah.
I know her from like Back to the Beach, you know,
Yeah,
back in the
yeah.
day. And then I was in studio with her and I was like, oh my God, it's Shekinah, you know what I mean? And she's like the nicest person. Lord
Is it a pinch yourself moment for you? Or is it like a,
Yeah.
I've arrived, yeah, I've made it?
It's sort of a, when she leaves the studio, then I can breathe out, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I love that. Let's talk about the more exciting stuff, because we've got a cool album, man, a debut album at that. I think if you
Yes,
look
sir.
at the experience that you have, this has been a long time coming, right? We're talking about Handsome Luke and the Heartbreakers, delves into love, heartbreak, entertainment, etc. Is this like an embodiment of what your life has been up until this moment?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's an embodiment of my journey through the entertainment industry and sort of trying to make it as an artist. And so the Heartbreakers are like the people and the experiences that I meet or have along the way. And I'm Handsome Luke.
and for people that are clearly loving the music, because you're growing, you're blowing up, you can see the trajectory.
Yeah.
What is it about your music that you think people are resonating with? Is it the honesty? Is it the realism? How would you describe the sound you're putting out even?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said the honesty. I think I try every time I make music to be more and more honest with myself. And I think people resonate with that. You know, I'm not trying to be anything other than myself or talk about anything other than what I've really been through. And I think people can feel that and they connect to that, you know.
Beautiful, man. And what's even more beautiful, I believe there's an event coming up, so we can see more of
Yes,
you in
sir.
real time. Where do we get this? Plug us in, man.
So I'm performing at On The Bill live at the Blue Room next week, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be doing a 45-minute set there. Unplugged acoustic vibes, so very intimate. Pull up.
Oh, perfect. And I think for everybody that wants to feel, you got to get involved in this one. And I'm telling you, when you hear this man perform, you're going to realize I have to get to that event. So I'm sorry if it gets overcrowded, because I promise you, when people see what you're doing, they're going to get there. So thank you so much for sharing a bit about you. I know it's always hard to make yourself vulnerable, and you do that even beautifully in your music. So I look forward to that, and I look forward to the rest of the show right now. G-Man, what's happening on your side, bro?
Oh, man, I know we're laying it on thick, but you've got to hear this kid sing. He is absolutely amazing. We are here for the singer-songwriter. So now that we've got our evening plans sorted, we need a little bag to get out there. And in fact, you could become the evening plans if you play Powerball for a guaranteed 67 million rand jackpot. Everyone can be invited to the party. So you can get your chance at a downpour of millions. So what are you waiting for? If you play now, you could literally make it rain lots of cash this March. How do you do it? You buy your tickets in store. You go online, nationallottery.co.za. It's at a mobile app. You can use your cell phone banking setup, or you can dial *120 *7529# for USSD, and we put all those details up on our social media pages, so you got no excuses. Go panda push a play Powerball for that guaranteed 67 million rand today. All the best of luck. Well, we did promise you an emotional journey courtesy of an incredible performer, and here he is. It's Mars Baby.
What's up, guys? I'm Mars Baby, and the song is called Bleeding. La 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 la, la 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 la. La la la, la la la, la 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 la, la. If you had a wedding, I might come and see, to honor the evenings we crawled down the street. You kept rhythm with my 2 left feet, and lipstick you left on the beat. And if you wanna run, then run home with me. Nostalgic for places that we'd never be. Only us together. The freedom makes 3. We could do what we want, it's alright. So caught up in your feelings, white dress still daydreaming. It's best that I leave you alone. 'Cause I've been lost in the scene, chasing highs, I'm still feeling it's true. I'm living for me, but my heart is still bleeding for you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la, la 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 la. La 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 la. And if I had a future, you'd be there with me. But I can't even tell you where I'll be next week, 'cause all I know is freedom, and it comes with a fee. The comfort of consistency. And if I'm such a sinner, then you should save me, 'cause I'm so undeserving of your sanctity. And I'm okay with healings, 'cause Jesus loves me, it's alright. You're so caught up in your feelings, white dress still daydreaming. It's best that I leave you alone. I've been lost in the scene, chasing highs, I'm still feeling it's true. I'm living for me, but my heart is still bleeding for you, 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 you. And I've been lost in the scene, chasing highs, I'm still feeling it's true. I'm living for me, but my heart is still beating for you.
Come on.
What even?
I know I say this about every performer, but that was my favorite performance of the year, without a doubt, man.
And we told them. We promised
Okay,
you.
so Meg's the angel that she is, just came in and revealed a little something. So please stand there and accept a big happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday!
Hey. you let that one slip under the radar. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for being here with
Sneaky
us on
bugger.
your special day.
Sneaky
I know.
bugger. You thought you could get that past us? No way. We're celebrating your birthday. And also we're celebrating Meg being here. And exactly what are you doing here? You're just showing off how to look good this day.
You know, a little bit of Woolies,
Own it.
table, autumn, winter.
Nice.
I feel like I've got big shoes to fill here with Carissa, like in the middle of you two.
Yeah. Nailing it.
Look, you're nailing it, you're
Nailing
owning it, and we are very excited for it. So, Zanzi, we've got every reason to stick around. More performances and more of what's been promised right here. Don't go anywhere.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Zanzi, welcome back. Your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And I know if you're looking at the weather, things are a little bit chillier, and that's because the seasons are changing. And with the start of a new season, and with all of it, comes small home updates that will cater for hearty meals and hopefully homely comfort. Now, homeware stylist and blogger Megan Pedro is here to unpack the latest autumn and winter trends from a dining and kitchen perspective. And I'm always grateful for you being here because you really set the scene.
Oh,
You're a scene setter. You are. You bring the mood and you allow us to bask in the ambiance.
Woolies is making it so easy and so cozy for us. So just bring in a little bit of it.
What can we expect for, I mean, before we get into winter and stuff like that, we got autumn and all that stuff. How are the seasons changing the influence in our style and our mood, especially on the table?
I feel like this week was so appropriate to do this because really in the air, we've got a little bit chillier.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Which is really, I mean, now we're in cozy knits and everything. So we warming it, we're cozying it up in the home space. And the easiest way, I especially think Woolies is great at transforming a trend, because trend is often just for the season.
Yes.
But Woolies makes a trend really livable in your home.
Yes.
Because we can see these kind of things into spring, into winter, cozying this up even more into winter. So especially, I mean, colorways. This color palette alone, even if you're thinking in your clothes wise, this color palette is such a great way to kind of cozy up and get, you know, things all so beautiful and have that baseline in your home.
Yeah.
When you're starting out, start with like the most beautiful, you know, cookware range. It is just stunning. And we've got a bit of gold, bit of, you know, the greens. We're sticking to nature. Natural textures, natural elements, stoneware. Yeah.
Now, what I'm noticing is exactly something you've mentioned, and I love it because often you'll invite us into a trend and then we can't use it the next season and we're forced to overhaul, go through a budgeting process to redo that. But a lot of these I've noticed from previous seasons, just in terms of that style, but yet with just a little twist, it changes everything.
Exactly.
Everything.
And I will prove it because often, like this corn husk place setting. You will see this into spring, and we like to do that because you're investing in your home.
Yes.
You know, you're investing in these pieces. So you'll see this. I'm going to show you from this way all the way through winter into spring. You'll see a lot of these
Show
pieces,
me.
which is so good, but we'll show you different ways to use it, which is great.
Can I please talk about the elephant in the room? And there's this beautiful handle just staring at me, and I can't help but just like, I need to touch this. It looks like
It's
brush.
beautiful, right?
What is this? Like
It is
brass?
absolutely
It is
beautiful.
stunning.
It is so stunning. So that is a coated finish, but we are talking my favorite things, okay? Let's actually switch over here.
Can we? Okay, sorry to jump the gun here, but we can't resist. Yeah.
So this is your cast iron, okay? Cast iron we know for its heaviness, its durability.
I thought it was weak there when I picked it up. Like, this is, have I lost all my strength? Okay,
I
okay.
mean, this is your workout.
But it's made proper. It's thick.
It is thick.
It is going
This
to
is your
probably
cast
last you.
iron.
I don't know how long. I don't know. This will probably outlast you.
Exactly. It is something that you can pass on, and we absolutely love that. This kind of texture and material and this colorway is instantly such a great way to just update your, you know, your kitchen space. And this is great. I mean, the cast iron is great for that quick induction, so that sear and that frying. I mean, doing a steak or something in here is just like perfect, but low and slow, it's the king.
Yeah, and this is what I was going to mention is when you get accessories, items like this in kitchenware, it almost like inspires you to make new things. You know, when you're going to gym and you get a new pair of tackies or clothes, it's like, you run an extra kilometer just with ease. This is what it's doing in the kitchen, right? It's
doing exactly that.
exciting us and inviting us to prepare new meals and challenging us to take on the options that it provides, because you couldn't do everything that you could if you didn't have this before.
And I'm doing that with the bakeware because I'm not a baker.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you, how's your bake game?
No, not at all. Because I feel like, you know, for one cake, there's like 12 dishes, and I just can't get my head around it, except with a ceramic coating. Okay, so these are the ceramic non-stick. So
nice.
we're
You can do a
actually
lot with
doing
this.
exactly. But I mean, look at this stunning finish. I mean, this cream color is so trendy, yet it's timeless, right? And you don't often use those words together. Again, I'm saying Woolies is doing that. This creamy color is just stunning. What is great about this is that the ceramic really holds onto heat. So straight from the oven, and it's beautiful for the table. So it's literally, you know, we hear that farm to table, this is oven to table. It is so, so beautiful. And in the various different ranges. So we have the muffin tin along with the baking tin.
Oh, nice. I didn't even
which is
notice that. Great.
And then what is also really great about ceramic is that, you know, the cleanup, so easy. Literally wipe it with a paper towel, and it's dishwasher safe.
Listen to your promise, because if that's
promise.
the case, I'm here for this. I'm getting it right now.
I know, I'm
hate
starting to
cleaning
bake
up.
too, because I'm thinking that is kind of easier.
But I also love what this is talking about, is that when we are going into these colder months now, we get more intimate in the home. We start creating more of those like warmth experiences. And I think baking lends to that so much. When you're talking about family time and creating memories, get your bake on, people,
Right,
because
and the smell in the air, easy, it's comfort, done.
you don't need to spray anything in the house if you're making good food. It's just like you walk in, it's like, oh, I've arrived.
You see, I haven't added any of our room fragrances this time, because that is your room fragrance, right?
Love what you've done. Listen, you're giving us every reason, I think, to buy into the season. If I was to ask you, because I'm looking around, you're trying to see how many items there are, and you're going to have to answer this question. Do you have a favorite?
Ooh.
Can there be a favorite?
Okay, look, when we're talking about the table setting, right? The table setting, I always feel we need to elevate it slightly. And the stripe, how does the stripe just immediately go from a plain tablecloth into this like detail? It's just like if you wear a striped shirt with your outfit. It's that intimate detail. And this is cotton, so durable, easy to wash, like so lovely. And this edging detail, how stunning is that? It's just an extra little part. And then maybe I have to actually mention these. I mean, this is the amber range, okay? This is the hammered texture glasses. And you can see, I mean, the bubble in that, the texture, and we talk about textures throughout the season. It is so beautiful. And that perfect amount, I mean, a massive ice cube in here, just go in for the day. Cheers.
It is perfect, and it feels like a piece of art. If I remind myself of when I've gone to Italy and seen some of the inspiration, this is it. This is absolutely...
Italy, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, this is not on trend. This is on fleek, on life, on everything that you need for not just this season, I think, but timeless at that. So, Megan, thank you for coming through, for inspiring us to get involved in the season, almost create new memories, and you can do exactly that, and you can ease into the season with Woolworths Home, Shop, and their newest AW25 collection in stores online, and of course on the app. What are you waiting for? This looks so good.
Now we got food.
We're all about the newness, moving into a new season. From the smaller details to the overall look and feel, over the past few weeks, we've taken you on a deep dive into the 2025 Plascon Colour Forecast. And we're about to recap how bold, neutral and some vibrant shades can really transform any space. So let's go and explore this week's colour story with Palesa at Clarence House in Fresnay.
Bright, dark, natural and neutral. Now all of these colors have been selected because they can be combined and add to other color families too, and not just exist within their own color family. Now today, we're here to continue to unpack this idea of hybridity and duality within the color spectrum. Charles, it's so incredible to meet you. What was your role when it comes to the color forecast?
So our role as Lookbook Studio was to take the colors from Plascon and interpret them and to create 4 different worlds for color palette for 2025. So as a studio, we looked at all the colors that were presented to us, and we then went about and created 4 separate looks: neutrals, naturals, brights and darks. We were given free rein to create these beautiful narratives and worlds to complement each look and world.
Chris, it's always so lovely to see you.
And you.
Now, Chris, when it comes to the theme of hybridity, how are you able to incorporate that with the colors that Plascon has chosen for their 2025 color forecast?
Yeah, so this year, because our theme is obviously hybridity, rather than going with different color stories or different kind of moods, we actually split the colors up into color families so that we're presenting more of a kit of parts than a series of different looks.
The thing that I would love most for people to benefit from the forecast is to explore colour. So use colour more, give it a bash, give it a try, have it mixed up by Plascon. I really think it's worth a try to make a difference in your home and in your life.
So I definitely think have fun. Hybridity is all about having no shame and owning your truth and your character and personality and knowing what you like and being bold and brave with your decisions. So even if you like neutrals, go with neutrals. But maybe my suggestion would be add some metallics or silver just to break the safety a bit. But I think there's no wrong or right, and I think that's kind of what I would tell anybody.
Zansi, just like that. It seems as if there are no rules when it comes to interior design, just as long as you go with your gut. I am so excited to continue to break down Plascon's 2025 color forecast and all that it has in store. Step into a world where color meets possibility with Plascon's 2025 Hybridity Color Forecast. Spend 500 Rand or more on any Plascon products and stand to win a state-of-the-art Toyota Corolla Cross 1.8 XS Hybrid worth 500,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp your receipt, name and ID to this number. T's and C's apply. Plascon, together we've got this.
And we've got you. Stick around for another episode. Thank you so much, Pali. Absolutely love being inspired in that way. But let's inspire you now with an amazing prize. In fact, a few up for grabs. Why? Because the Bacomo Powerball is heating up. One prize has already been claimed by a viewer, 1,500 Rand under the letter K on our board. But there are 5 more letters to choose. So let's find out who is on the line. A very good morning. Andrea, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Graham. I'm very well, thanks. And yourself, sir?
I'm very good. We can move beyond sir. I'm your friend. I'm your best friend right now because hopefully I'm going to let you win big. And I say it like I'm giving you the prizes this morning, but Bacomo has stepped up. They have a range of cereals including oats, wheat bix, OTs, which we love, nature's source, granola and corn flakes. So I wanted to ask you, what is your go-to when your family sit down for breakfast? What's your absolute Bacomo favorite?
I have to go with wheat bix. It's been a staple in our household for many, many years.
I love that. My nana and granddad on my wife's side would be very, very chuffed with that response. They've introduced that culture within my kids. So now you know the vibe. You've got to pick a letter. Okay, we've got 5 left in the word Bakomo. The K has been taken. That leaves us with our B and then our O's spread around the board. We've got middle, center on the top and then left and right on the bottom. Then, of course, the M. Which letter remaining would you like to choose and spin?
I would like to go with bottom right O.
Bottom right O. I'm going to point at this O. Is that the O you are thinking about? Bottom right when looking at the screen?
The one just below K.
The one just below. I love it. I'm going to call my good luck fairy in, Lucian, to please flip. I know he doesn't look like he's filled with good luck, but I promise you. Okay, it pumps out of him. I'm getting luckier. I might even win something myself standing this close to him. Congratulations! 250 Rand Uber Eats voucher on us. And of course, Bakomo. Andrea, congratulations.
Awesome.
You are our
Thank
winner
you
this
so
morning.
much.
Well done. Lucian's run off to go and fetch your Uber Eats voucher. No, hopefully that'll give you a little bit extra as we go into the long weekend. Congratulations. Keep playing. We could just be calling you again. But Andrea, happy Human Rights Day. Have an amazing weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Graham.
Love connecting with you. Love being able to